All right, so let's review some algebra skills. Okay, so some things we did last year that we didn't quite get this year, but we might need reminding of because they are in the review skills, is some words in algebra. When we see sum, that means to add. When we see difference, that would mean to subtract. So if I said the difference between x and y would be x minus y. Product is multiply. And it's not very often used, but quotient is fraction. And of course, a fraction is division. Okay, there's some words that are used. An example question for that would be, so you want to use x and y. I want to write twice a number. Let's say we decreased by 7. Okay, that's not using any of these, but I'll do this one first and then I'll use one of those. So twice a number decreased by 7. How do I write that in algebra? Conversion, twice, that's multiplied by 2 of a number. I would call it x and decrease by 7. So twice the number and then decrease it by 7. So that'll be 2 times x, decrease it by 7, subtract 7. Okay, so that'll be one thing. If I wanted, so if the other question was the difference between just x and y, as I said in the start, the difference between x and y would be x minus y. So that's just some simple conversions from words into algebra. So we don't want any words anymore. We can only use letters and numbers. We don't use, if you notice, we don't use multiplication or division anymore either. We either put it as a fraction if it's division. So if this was to be divided by something, I would write like this. I'll put it all over 2 if I was to divide the answer, the difference between x and y divided by 2. Okay. All right. So that one skill from last year, but that'll help you with some word questions. The other thing we did so far was substitution. Now we did many examples of substitution so far. So if we have x equals, we use negative numbers. That's new this year. We only substituted positive numbers last year. If x is -2 and y is -3, if we have 2xy as one example, what would we do? Well, we would replace x and y. 2 times now -2 and y is -3. So what I've done is replace the variables. Okay, and I can multiply them in any order. 2 times -2 gives -4. Then -4 times -3 gives minus times minus plus 12. Okay, and I'm sure you're okay at substitution. If you need any more help with that one, go back to my YouTube channel and go back to when we did substitution. I think there's 2 videos up there on substitution. Another thing we did was simplifying. So that's when you looked for like terms. You collected the like terms. Anything that was a like had the same letters and numbers in it, you would add together. So I'll do an example. If I had 12x squared plus 3x minus 4x plus 2x squared plus 7. And I wanted to simplify that. Well, there's 3 different terms there. X squares are not the same as x's, because that's x times x, that's just x. So that's 12 times x times x, and that's 2 times x times x. How many times do we have x times x, or x squared there? 12 plus 2, 14 x times x. But of course we don't say that, we say x squared. That's these 2 dealt with. So I could cross them off if that was the question, and now I've just left with these 2 and this one at the end. So plus 3, make sure to take that sign. Now the first one was easy because that was a plus and that was also a plus. There's no sign, it's plus. This one's not quite as easy. Plus 3x take away 4 x's. So if I have $3 and I take away $4, I go 1 into debt. And so I subtract 3 take away 4, and I go minus 1 into debt. So that's just minus x. Minus 1x you could write, but we're mathematicians now. We know that x means there's only one of them. And what about my friend down here, number 7? Well, he has no friends. He just sticks as 7 per number 7. Okay, so unless there was a number there for him to add or subtract to, he won't. Okay, and that was simplifying. We also recently did expanding. And the opposite of expanding brackets, which was factorizing. Yeah, poor number 7, no friends. Okay, so expanding, if we have brackets, we have 2 times 2x minus 3, something like that, and we wanted to expand it. Expanding means remove the brackets. Multiply out. Remember, brackets means to multiply. Spelled that wrong. Okay, 2 times 2x, because that number has to be multiplied by both these terms. So I always draw these arrows just to remind me it has to be multiplied by both terms. Sometimes the mistake is made, it's only multiplied by the first term. But of course, both these things are affected by this 2. It's twice both of them. All right, so 2 times 2x gives 4x, and 2 times negative 3 gives negative 6. Okay, and that's expanding. And only the blue ones will get a little bit more difficult than that, where you have to expand 2 brackets and sometimes multiply by a negative. But we're well able to deal with that. Next one and last one of the review, factorizing. Okay, so factorizing is the opposite to expanding. It is putting the bracket back in. So if I have something like a squared plus 2ab, maybe put a 4 here, why not have a number as well. I'm looking for what's common to both. So if you think you have the answer to this one, fully factorize it, do type it in the chat. Let's see, can anyone get it? No, he's not frozen. He's just waiting for someone to type the answer. No one has the answer. My goodness, no one can factorize. Lily's almost there, but it's not factorized fully. So we have to put the bracket back in. We have to make it look like this. There has to be brackets in it. Louise is closer, but not quite there. No, no one has it yet. I'm gonna wait. Come on, someone has it. I know that means a squared, Harry, but there's a in both, so a will be a factor. Put a outside the bracket. No one's got it yet. Oh man. Oh wait, Tiana. Does Tiana have it? Does Harry have it? Well, let's have a look. Polina might have it. Okay. So yeah, what's common to both? A is definitely in both. So A is going to be outside. A squared won't be outside because this one doesn't have a squared in it. So it has to be in both. Is there a number that divides into both 4 and 2? Yes, 2. So 2a is outside the bracket. So a number of people have it now. Rafa, Reese, Harry, Paulina, Tiana. Okay, you guys, well done. What's left behind? Well, of this second term is probably easier. 2 and A are gone because 2A is now outside, which means B is left behind. Of this first term, a little bit trickier. I need to make it again if I multiply 2A times something equals 4A squared. Well, there has to be a 2. 2 times 2 to give the 4. And A times what gives A squared? Well, A times A gives A squared, so it's by itself. Okay? Yeah, Mandy, you got it. Yeah. So that's factorizing. Maybe we need to work on factorizing a bit more. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do a Kahoot, and then it's going to be an exit pass. So don't anybody leave until the exit pass is complete. All right, so I'm going to share my other screen.